Welcome back, everyone. I am Miss Ashley. I will be leading your STEM activities on Tuesdays. This is my third video for you guys. This is going to be a little different today. I will be doing our video in Spanish in just a little bit for a couple of announcements before we actually start off our activity. Esta porción va a ser para nuestras familias que hablan español. El primer anuncio que tengo para ustedes es que nuestra ceremonia de graduación va a ser virtual a través de YouTube en vivo la próxima semana que entra. El viernes voy a mandar un mensaje de texto en la aplicación de Remind, donde les va a decir el día y el tiempo o el horario que vamos a tener la ceremonia de graduación. Todo nuestro personal ha trabajado mucho en hacer diferentes videos y ahorita nuestra prioridad es hacer esta ceremonia para ustedes y para poder reconocer a todos nuestros estudiantes del programa, a los que han hecho un excelente trabajo durante todo el año, y todas esas cosas que usualmente lo hacemos durante graduación. Ojalá que ustedes se unan con nosotros la próxima semana para ver esto en vivo y para tener a todo nuestro personal en un video y poder mandarnos mensajes para que podamos contestarles en vivo y hablar un poquito con ustedes. El segundo anuncio va a ser que nuestro personal también está trabajando en hacer un cuaderno para los estudiantes. En este caso vamos a necesitar el correo electrónico de un adulto para poder mandar eso para ustedes. Y el cuaderno solamente es fotos de todo el año, de todas las actividades que hemos hecho y todos los paseos también que hemos hecho. Ojalá que ustedes reciben eso y los estudiantes lo tengan como un recuerdo, especialmente los que se están yendo al sexto grado, porque ellos son los que a veces no pueden venir para atrás dependiendo de dónde está la escuela y cosas así. Ojalá que ellos disfruten de ese cuaderno y lo tengan como memoria del programa que estuvieron. Now, this last announcement is for all of our families. We are going to try to set up a resource day on Saturday in the morning. I am going to be sending more information out by tonight, possibly tomorrow morning, about when you guys can come in and come and pick up some stuff. We are doing it a lot different this time around. We do want 2 people per family to come and get some resources, get some food that we may have to offer. We do need to set up appointments, so anyone who shows up randomly without an appointment, we will be denying you, unfortunately. We are trying to keep our staff safe and we are trying to keep you all safe. So if you show up while someone else is there, we are going to deny you and have you set up an appointment to come back, or just have you wait until we desanitize and clean everything. Please make sure to set up an appointment with me. All you have to do is send me a text message so that I can give you a time frame. We are probably only giving about 10 to 15 minutes for each family, because we are going to be open only for a certain amount of time. So please make sure to set up an appointment with me. It only takes one text message, and so that shouldn't be hard for you guys. If you guys are already on my Remind app, all you have to do is just text me back and let me know, hey, I'm interested. How do I sign up? El último anuncio que tengo va a ser para este sábado. En la mañana vamos a tener recursos disponibles para nuestras familias. Va a ser comida y materiales para nuestros estudiantes. La única cosa es que para este día vamos a tener reglas estrictas. Solamente estamos dejando a 2 personas entrar por familia y van a tener que tener un horario. Si ustedes no tienen un horario, lo que tenemos que hacer es mandarlos para atrás hasta que tengamos un horario para ustedes. Si es que ustedes nada más vienen y hay una familia adentro, si no hay familia, después tienen que esperar, pero si hay, entonces tienen que esperar hasta que haya un periodo que esté abierto para ustedes. Lo único que tienen que hacer para tener un horario es mandarme un mensaje de texto en Remind. Y lo que voy a hacer yo es, empezando hoy en la noche o mañana temprano, voy a mandar un mensaje para poder anunciar el horario que vamos a tener disponible para todas nuestras familias. Pero ojalá que ustedes vengan y recogen un poquito de comida que tenemos disponible o materiales que los estudiantes puedan usar en la casa. Pretty much done with all of my announcements, so we can move on to our STEM activity. I hope that you guys remember our activities that we've done in the past, or some of the concepts that we've gone over, because today we are going to be kind of reviewing something that we've already learned and that we've gone over. We just did a different activity, and so this one is going to be more of a, I think it's more fun for you guys, a lot more easier, and something that you guys can definitely entertain yourselves with at home. This video is going to only consist of some materials, not a lot. If anything, it's probably less than what I've asked you for before. Mostly what you're going to be needing is straws. Now, I do want to give a quick little lesson about straws. We do want to make sure that you guys are not just using these and throwing them, and you know, these are really bad for the economy. However, they're really good for STEM activities, and so it kind of conflicts there. But all I ask is that if you do use straws, please make sure to reuse them. Don't just throw them away. I know that it's better when you have full straws so that you can cut them and do all of this stuff, but I also want to make sure that you're recycling them and that you're still using them. Even if you're cutting them or if they're a little damaged, that's fine. They're still useful. Please do not just throw these away. We want to make sure that we're recycling and that we're using materials that are available to us, and that we're not just going and buying new ones and then throwing these and just disposing of them, because they do go into the ocean. So don't forget, guys. Activity is called Rollercoaster Project. Now, this one is super fun. I think you guys are going to have so much fun with it. But before we get started, I do want to go over a couple of concepts. So with that said, I hope that you guys remember what potential and kinetic energy is. We did go over this maybe a couple months ago, so if you guys don't remember, that's okay. I'll refresh your memory through this video. We are going to review potential versus kinetic energy. We went over this during program, and so basically what we said was that potential energy is stored energy. If you're using, let's say for an example, if we're going to use a ping pong ball to go down our roller coaster that we created, that ping pong ball has so much energy stored that when you release it, it's going down, right? So in this case, potential energy always gets converted into kinetic. Kinetic energy is because of its motion. So an object begins to release the energy because of the motion. Now, this one is a little bit more complicated because there's two different types. You have gravitational or electric. Now, in our case, we are going to be releasing gravitational energy. That's what we're going to be using because we're letting gravity take the ball. So in electric energy, we can say that this actually functions in real life, because in an actual roller coaster, we have carts being powered by electricity, right? So that would be used as electric energy. Now, if you guys are a little confused still and you don't understand how this works and you don't remember what we went over, that's totally fine. I completely understand. These are concepts that I honestly find very hard to learn. I can definitely explain it to you. Just let me know in a comment, and that way I can figure out how to explain it to you in the next video. Now, we've kind of gone over everything that we're pretty much going to do here to create this roller coaster. Obviously, we needed to go over potential and kinetic energy, so I hope you guys understand it. If there's something unclear that I didn't go over, or maybe you guys have a couple of questions, please make sure to leave a comment so that I can kind of go over it or explain it to you and answer back. For this activity, you don't really need that much stuff. I used a cardboard that I already had. It can be a pizza box, it can be anything. You don't really need a new cardboard, because you know all you need it for is the base, just to make it stand. So it doesn't even have to be in good condition. Just as long as you can stick stuff on it, then you're pretty much good to go. So don't worry about making it look so fancy and then you need a new box and go buy one. If you guys already have one from something that you guys ate maybe the day before or that day of, just use it. That's pretty much what I'm doing. So it was a pizza box and I ripped it apart so that I can use. Now, like I said, We are going to be using straws in this activity. I don't know if you guys can see all my materials, but this is pretty much all you're gonna need. You need a pair of scissors to be able to cut the straws. I'm also using a glue gun to be able to make them stick together. For the top parts, when you're doing the roller coaster, you actually can use tape with it. It might be a little bit harder, but at least for this activity, I would definitely recommend to have a glue gun. So if you have one at home, that's great. I think with these, you can purchase them pretty much anywhere. Should be mostly at Target. I believe you could get it at Walmart as well. Just something functional. You don't need a big fancy one. You don't need one that's super expensive. Just one that works perfectly fine. Okay, so now with that said, the first thing I did was glue my first part. And so I used full straws for these to be able to make them stand. So you do want to use full straws for the for the start. So what I would do and suggest is wherever you start off on your platform, just put a start and an end. So if you want it to start on this side and you want it to end maybe in the middle, or you want it to end here, make sure to label it so you know exactly how you're going to be building everything. For me, I'm going to put start here and it's going to end on this side. You can design your roller coaster however you want. If you want, before you start building, you should probably start thinking about how you want to do it. Maybe sketch it out, or actually I would say sketch it out, because remember I mentioned the first video, I said that you guys should have a STEM journal, like we usually do have for our academic program. We always use a STEM journal. Please make sure that you're using that as well. It actually really helps out when you can go back and look at the stuff that you've learned. Okay, so now that I started off with 2 straws, the thing that I'm going to need is I'm going to need something to hold them together, so that I don't know if you guys can see, but they're kind of splitting apart. So what I want to do is make sure that they're together and that they're straight. This piece is going to serve as a base also for the other ones that are going to be going down. So just make sure to do that. Be careful with the hot glue gun. Like I mentioned before in our past videos, these get really hot and you can burn yourself very, very badly with it. I've pretty much have burned myself a couple of times, and I try to be as careful as possible every time I use them, but obviously it's a little hard. If you don't know how to use them, or you're scared to use them, just ask someone to help you with it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Remember, the more that you guys help each other, the more you guys learn. Don't be afraid to ask. Now, because I'm here alone, can't really ask for any help. So hopefully you guys have your parents, your siblings, someone that you can ask for help. It's gonna take a little bit of time to do this, because it does take a good while to dry up the glue gun or the glue sticks. So I'm going to be doing this video by portions. So that means that I'm going to be doing maybe step 1, and then I'll record something else to show you my progress. I'll kind of explain what I did to make it easier for you, because I don't want to record for so long, because it's kind of pointless. You guys can see I did advance a little bit more. It doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. I tried to just kind of do different sizes. It's kind of hard to see in the angle that I'm in, but I hope you guys can see it this way. So basically what you have to do is use 2 straws like this, line them up together, make sure that they're even, and then just put kind of like a little piece to hold them together and straight, so that the ball can go down on its own. Do them different sizes. So obviously at the beginning I did the tallest of the tallest part, and then as I kept going I did it shorter and shorter. I need one more here, and then that way I can match this one a little bit. But they're different sizes, otherwise it defeats the purpose of a roller coaster ride, because it's not really going down. So now the next thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm actually gonna show you how to use duct tape with it, or any other type of tape. I'm running very low on my glue sticks and I don't have any more. So I'm going to improvise, and I'm going to be using duct tape because I know some of you guys don't have glue guns at home. So that way you guys can kind of learn how to use these and how to manage it with your roller coaster. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect as long as the ball can go through, right? If the ball doesn't work, or if it doesn't go down and my roller coaster doesn't work, basically what that means is I need to create more the angles. So if it doesn't go down and doesn't move, then that just means that I have to figure out what is it exactly that I did wrong, right? So yeah, let's move on. I'm gonna use the rest of the glue that I have here, and then I'll move on to the duct tape. So I'm gonna be grabbing one of these little pieces here to attach on this one here. I'm gonna be cutting it a little bit, only because I feel like it's a little too long. And then I'm just gonna glue it on top here. I'm gonna put the glue on this straw instead of, I think that's a little bit of glue, but I don't have that much. So just gonna let that dry. Now let's see, because I'm kind of running low already, let's see how we can use the duct tape. Now, remember that duct tape is pretty strong. You don't need a lot of it to be able to stick something on there. So, let's see. I'm only using a small portion of it right now. As you can see, I only grabbed maybe about a strip of it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just kind of gonna stick it around like this. Oops. And then I'm gonna do the same exact thing. Grab another strip. And grab it on the other side. So just because you don't have a glue stick doesn't mean you cannot do this activity. You can use other things such as tape. Now the other thing that you can do to create a roller coaster if you don't have straws, you can do it also with any type of paper. The only thing is you're gonna have to roll them super thin and cut them into pieces and make them pretty strong. But it's possible to do without straws as well. So now that I've done that, since I don't have this base here, I wanted to try to angle it this way, but I think it's just gonna be a little too hard. So I'm just gonna do another one here on this side. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna measure this, measure the straws that I have to see how tall they are. I am gonna use these straws here, and I'm just gonna measure them on the side, and I'm gonna make it a lot more shorter. One of the things that you can do is grab a marker. And so I'll show you guys how to do this with a marker so that it makes it easy for you guys to measure. I like to use Sharpies. So what you can do is put it next to the last one that you did and just mark it down. And I'm gonna mark it down from this one because then I can see the difference, right? So then what I'm gonna wanna do is cut in the middle so that it's not too short from this and not too tall from this part. So let's cut that piece in. Now once I've cut this piece here, then I'm gonna measure it here with the taller straw, and I'm just gonna cut that piece off like that. Now this one, it's a little bit different because you need to stick it down here. And so the way I'm just gonna do it is I'm just gonna kind of place it on top for now. What you can do is kind of hold it down with the strips that you have. You can just hold it down like so. Put it down on the cardboard and then paste it on the actual straw to hold it down. Now it might not be as sturdy as using a hot glue gun, but like I said, it still works and it's still sticking it together. So you don't necessarily need to have it perfect to be able to make it work. You need to be able to use any materials that you have available to be able to stick them. Now, I'm not making this perfect because for me that doesn't really matter. What matters to me is that it works, and that's the most important part for me. So there we go. They're pretty stuck together. And now I'm gonna grab the strip again, and I'm going to grab a small piece and then just put the last piece here, right? And it seems to work perfectly fine without using a hot glue gun. So you don't need it, you can use tape. So look at that, that's pretty much different sizes. I don't know if you can kind of see it. Now I'm gonna stop there for now, and I'm going to be adding the rails and then test it out and see how that works. Add the rails already. I did them with tape, and I'm gonna be doing the rest on video so that you guys can see it. I wanted to just kind of create an example before actually showing you how to do it. So you see how the rail's going down? You can easily, before finishing, just test out your ping pong and see if it goes down, and obviously you see mine did go down. Just so that you can reassure yourself that it's working. Now, one of the things that I wanna go over is this part here. This is where you guys might get confused, because you want the ball to go down from here and then go down this way. So what I'm gonna do so that it doesn't go straight down this way, I'm gonna cut a piece here so that it could stop and connect it going this way. And you'll see how I'll do it right now. So what I'm gonna do is connect a whole bunch of different straws. So I want, obviously, the ball to go down this way, right? So now let's see. What I'm gonna do is grab different straws and just measure. I wanna connect these two here. So I'm just gonna connect them like so. Obviously it was a perfect mix. And if you can, I don't know if you're hearing all my stuff, but they're falling down, which is totally fine. I'm gonna clean up later. Remember, stem could be a little bit messy. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna connect these two straws, the two ends, I'm gonna connect them together with just the tape to create that new area where the ball is gonna go in, right? Now, what I need to do is kind of create the structure outside of it so that I know exactly where I'm going. So I'm gonna grab a new straw and just kind of measure here first to connect these here. And I'm gonna cut it there. Remember, you guys can use a Sharpie to do all of this. I'm not using a Sharpie because I kind of know exactly where I'm gonna measure it. Sometimes it'll come out a little shorter, and that's totally fine. There's no problem with that. So I'm going to connect it there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece in half because I don't need all of that. Okay. So you see how it's starting to look more like it's going like a maze? That's what we want it to do. Now I still think this piece is a little too long, so I'm going to cut a little piece of it. And now what I'm going to do is in this area here, I obviously want to be able to connect a maze in it, right? So here, I think this might be pretty good, decent size because I want to connect these two together. However, I'm going to measure them and see if they're the same exact size. When you start building, you'll notice yourself, you'll notice when you need to cut certain areas because as you're going to see exactly what I mean when you need to create a new path for the ball, and you're going to start coming up with different ideas. I know this STEM challenge is a little bit more difficult because I feel like you have to be here in person to walk you step by step with it. But I'm very confident that you guys will come up with your own solutions and you'll be able to do it yourself. I don't know if you guys can see that I am bleeding. I accidentally cut myself with the scissors. Please be careful when you guys are using these. I don't want you guys to get hurt. Obviously, I just got hurt, so I'm going to be going to go get a Band-Aid pretty soon. I just want to finish this portion here to show you guys what I mean by connecting them. And just try to stick the tape as much as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't forget that, guys. As you can see, I kind of created a little maze already. I don't know if you guys can see. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be getting the ball and I'm gonna test it out. So I couldn't find the ball, so I just got a different one. It's still a ping pong ball. So let's test it out and see how it goes. Whoa. Well, obviously it did not go. So now the problem that I have is that instead of turning and going down, it's not really going down, right? And even right now, the problem that I see is that when it does go down this way, it's too wide here. So now what I need to do is make it probably longer so that it can close up this gap here where it goes through. You see how that didn't work? So this gap here is a little bit too long. So that's a gap that I want to fix, right? And the other problem is that it goes straight here. Didn't do it this time. Wow, that actually pretty much worked. Wow. So I guess the only problem that I have now is this part here. It's a little too wide. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this piece longer to kind of close it up. So instead of using that straw, I'm gonna use a bigger one. And I'm gonna put it here. Now, one of the things that I wanna do is I wanna make it a little bit more sturdy on that side because it does feel a little loose. And so maybe I might want to add a straw here to just kind of hold it down. This one's not long enough, so maybe what I'll do is cut one. And so I want to make sure that it's sturdy and that it stays together and that it's not so wobbly. Just to put it like this, just to kind of hold it down. Might need a little less. Now, I don't know if you guys can see, but I really do need to go get a Band-Aid. I cut myself pretty deep and I'm bleeding a lot. And like I said, be careful with the scissors, guys. You can get very, very injured with it. Okay. So now that I've done that, I'm gonna cut another piece of tape. Remember with the duct tape, guys, especially for our young engineers, duct tape, you can go a long way. You do not need to use so much of it. Not at all. Now what I'm gonna do it very simple. I'm just gonna kind of stick it in here. Just kind of place it there. Okay. So now let's see if the problem here still shows up. It does. So I might want to add a barrier here, right? So that it could go down and stop. Perfect. I'm just going to add the barrier here to let it go down, and all I'm going to do is just kind of put something here to kind of block it. Let me see how I want to do this. So I think I'm just going to put some tape on there, just kind of let it go down like that. So now let's see if it stops. It still doesn't. Now the only reason why I think it doesn't do that is because this piece here is a little too tall, so it's making the ball bounce. So what I want to do is kind of push this down here, and maybe what I want to do is to make this a little shorter to make this piece go down. Okay. Now this piece here is a little too long. We don't need that piece right there. Okay. If anything, I may need to add, oh, okay. That worked pretty good. Now, we'll need to add one more barrier here to make it turn this way, right? So now, we'll add a barrier here. And so as you can see, all you're going to be doing is exactly what we just did here. You're going to be doing the exact same thing for the rest of it. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys to finish it up. And I'm just going to kind of touch up here. And I'll let you guys finish up the rest. And I'm going to show you the masterpiece after this one. I did advance a little bit more. I hope you guys figured out how to create your own way of doing it. I'm almost to the end. For me to stop the ball, I put a bottle cap so that it could land in there. Now the last thing I need to do is just basically be able to hold this last piece here to be able to throw the ball in there. I'm just working on a couple fixes that I needed and to keep everything steady to be able to work and function perfectly fine. Pretty much I'm almost done here. I hope you guys are almost done. I hope you enjoyed this portion here. I'm just making sure everything's stuck together and that we don't have anything that falls apart while the ball is going on, because that's what we don't want. Now I think this one, I kind of made it a little crooked, so I'm going to take this tape off here. And just be careful when you're doing this. I don't want you guys to like rip things off and then maybe accidentally break it or rip it apart, and then you guys are gonna get very angry about it. For me, this piece here is not sticking, so I might need a bigger tape. So I'm gonna cut another piece of tape. Don't need a lot. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Okay. It's okay if you mess up, it's totally fine. Remember, engineers make mistakes and failure is okay. I just want to remind you guys that all the time, because you know, you guys just need to keep trying, and I don't want you guys to give up because something didn't go your way. Or whatever the case is, you know, Just keep trying, you'll get there. So this one's a little crooked. I feel like it's still too tight and it's not to my liking, so I'm gonna kind of fix it in. Keeps going a little crooked, and that's what I'm kind of not understanding right now, because the last thing I want is for the ball to go the wrong way. So I'm just kind of taking off the tape and then just kind of fixing it, and then I'm just going to create one last one here, which will be by this one here. We're going to tape it together, and I think that actually might work. And then one last thing I want to do is just kind of add a little base here, so that the ball can go in there. It's going to be a little difficult to add. So it'll be just kind of like this. I do want to add maybe a little small piece of tape here at the bottom connected to the straws. And you guys can use the tape however you guys want. I'm just doing it one way. You guys can do it another. I kind of did it a little wrong, so I'm going to fix it right now. This one's kind of not sticking anymore. But I think that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to test it out and see if it works. I don't know if you guys can see my roller coaster. I'm gonna try it out and see. Let's try it out together. Hopefully it will work. I think if anything, I'm just missing a barrier here, and I'm gonna add that really quick because I noticed it right now. Uh-oh, just kind of lost it. So I'm just gonna add it here. So let's see if it works, and if it doesn't, then we will fix it up. Uh-oh, it got stuck. And it got stuck right at the same spot it was supposed to go in. So now the thing is that it probably is too low here, and this is too tall. So we need to make that shorter, right? So what we can do is take off this piece in the bottom, and then just cut a tiny little piece of it, maybe about that high, and then just add the tape back again, because you can still reuse that tape. It still has some stickiness to it. And now let's try it again. It still gets stuck there. Now, I don't know, we need to kind of figure this piece out, but for the most part, let's try the rest. Oh no, it didn't go down here, and I see why. This piece here is a little too thick and it won't go through. So what we'll do is we'll also cut that piece off right there. But like I said, be careful with this, guys. It's a little dangerous here with the scissors. Let's see if that works. It almost worked. It still gets stuck in that same spot. Kind of have the same problem here, and so what I'm seeing is that the edges are a little too sharp, or not too sharp, too tall, and so that's what's preventing it from going down. And obviously that didn't work, and it didn't go in here. But for the most part, our roller coaster did work. It does go down. Now the only thing is we just need to fix those little edges, right? And just kind of fix that part right there. And that's pretty much it. But you guys can have fun with it and then be creative and just figure out your own ways to do it. This is my way. I'm gonna be fixing it up a little bit more. It's not perfect, obviously, but it's my first attempt to do a roller coaster, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, that's pretty much all. Okay, so obviously my roller coaster did not work, and that's totally fine. I'm gonna keep playing with this because I actually really want to fix it, but I hope that you guys learned how to kind of structure it and do it yourselves. That way you guys can just kind of fix it yourselves and go over it and maybe build something bigger than what I did. If you want to build something bigger, they do have online some that you can do with construction papers. Now I did mine with straws because it was the material that I had the most, so I didn't have any construction paper, so that's why I didn't do it that way. But you guys can get that on your own if you want to. If you have it at home, that's great, you can do it with that. I hope you guys enjoyed my lesson plan. I will see you guys soon. Hopefully you guys will join us for our virtual ceremony, and yeah, I hope you guys have a really good weekend. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.